That is a good question. Um, all my friends, the majority of my friends, they're agnostic. They're kind of in the middle, and many of them are atheists. Yes, I have some close friends that are atheists. I have some close friends that are agnostic. I have some close friends that are Christian. But I think we shouldn't look on the person based off of their viewpoint in terms of ideology and in terms of religion. But I think we should just look at a person by the person, not by what they believe in, which is number one. Number two is, yes, religion does has a huge chunk in the way that we live. A huge chunk. Our founding fathers of this country used religion as a stepping stone, as a framework, as a point of reference to build this country to the way that it was meant to be. Now, granted, it was not the best country in the world, nor was it the country that they really wanted it to be, but they made it work. We evolved, we've changed, but we're still technically the same country that was founded over 200 years ago. Religion had a huge helping hand in the founding of this country. This country was founded on religion. And then as the world started to evolve, and as the country started to overpopulate, and as the country started to get a whole variety of individuals, you had mixed reviews, mixed emotions about religion. You'd be surprised. I myself am a Christian. I believe that there is a heaven and there is a hell. I believe that God created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and on the seventh day He rested. I believe that yes, the universe and the earth is roughly about 6,000 years old. For those of you that think that are out there that look at me crazy, I know. And it may sound ridiculous if you've been brainwashed by the school's educational system. Because the school educational system only goes so far with the evolution stuff in terms of a religious point of view. Evolution does occur, but not the way that people perceive it to be. For the past, Lord knows how long evolution has been taught in school. Because initially when the school system was developed, Christianity was taught in schools. But then people started to question the faith. They started getting too filled up in the head with their own ideology, with their own interpretation. Took it all the way new direction. Took it south. Little by little, educational system was split in half. Private schools and public schools. Private teaches religion, public doesn't. Public school teaches, evolution as it's taught. Very little bit about religion, if any. In private schools, they incorporate religion with science. They teach you the delusion. They teach you both sides. Public school doesn't. They only teach you one side of the coin, which is the evolution that's rested upon billions of years. My opinion, and this is the rhetorical question, which institution is better? Which institution would you trust your child? Would you trust an institution to entrust your child of the education? Would you trust the private school that teaches both sides of the issue? Or would you trust the public school that only teaches one side of the issue? See, an education means that you're being taught two sides or all sides of anything. There's usually two sides to an issue, so I'll use two sides. They'll teach you two sides of the issue, both sides of the issue, both fences. They'll teach you everything. They'll teach you the contradiction and they'll teach you the refutation. And then they'll teach you the argument. They'll teach you, okay, so this is what's established in the Bible, but this is what man has established. But on top of that, they teach you both sides. Public school only teaches you one side. So in essence, technically, public schools are indoctrinating your students. Technically, private schools are the ones that are really educating your students because they're teaching you both sides of the issue. They're incorporating moral, self-worth, not Scientology, but self-worth in yourself, that you can achieve great things. These are the schools that I would prefer to invest my own money in because that it provides a true education. A true education. In public schools, they don't teach you moral with education. They literally just teach you the stuff and expect you to absorb it. They don't teach you morals. They don't teach you life lessons. They don't teach you how to become a good person in the future. I've done the math. I've seen the statistics. There are more violence in public schools than private schools. For one, public schools teach no moral, private schools do. Decrease of violence like that. Private schools teaches you self-worth, public school doesn't. Kids drop out more in public schools than they do with private schools. And yes, of course, private schools are a little bit more expensive. Maybe some of you a lot more expensive. It's worth the money to educate your child to the full ability that they can be educated, not the minimum. Now, to revisit the whole thing between creation and evolution. For those of you that don't know what creation is, basically creation is the study of how the universe was created by a deity, such as God, right? And of course, evolution is the points in which man is compiled that rests on billions of years, and was created by chance. When I used to teach science as a tutor, I taught two different types of theories on how the universe was created. It's called the theory of determinism. And let's see. Oh, and then the theory of chance or probability. Right? I think it's the theory of chance. That's it. Theory of chance. It's been a while since I taught a class, so my teaching skills are a little bit rusty. But the theory of determinism states that everything is predetermined. Everything is determined to serve a purpose. The theory of chance means that everything's just created by accident, and there's no real purpose. Everything. It looks as if there's a purpose, but there really is no purpose. It's just by random choice, by random happenings. That's a better term. Not choice, because they don't have their own choice, because they're not living things, but had their own. It's just their own happening. The anthropic principle supports the idea of the theory of determinism, that the universe seems as if it's created for the benefit of human beings. That's what the anthropic principle states. The anthropic principle was established by atheists, but was not supported by atheists. Because you have to admit that the way that our solar system is created, the way that how Earth is just perfect where it is, and just how everything was perfect, and how the electron, if it was created slightly different, with slightly more charged or less charged, life would be impossible, right? They had to admit that it seems as if the universe, at least the solar system, if not lesser than, at least the Earth, was created for the benefit of human beings. Which is obvious for creationists, because it was created for the benefit of human beings. The atheists, not so much, because they wanted to explain things naturally, by natural occurrence, natural selection, right? Let me give you a few examples on why billions of years is not, it's not true, and how you're putting all of your eggs in one leaky basket. Let's start from a point close to home, the moon. We lose our moon every single year by 1 inch. Our moon moves at least 1 inch away from the Earth every single year. We are gradually losing our moon due to the gravitational de-attraction as an object spins around an object, or a mass spins around an object. Over time, the gravitational sling that it has on each other, the attraction between two objects, and eventually they start to pull away from each other, in layman terms. We are gradually losing our moon, our satellite. The moon is about 250,000 miles away from Earth. So if we were to calculate by using common logic, common math, using common sense, so if we lose Earth at least 1 inch per year, right? So if we were to backtrack that 1 inch per year, and we were to calculate all the way 250,000 years ago, okay, the moon would have been way too close of comfort to the Earth for the Earth to be the way it is today. We can at least track it back to at least 1 million years. But sometimes even 1 million years, depends on how you do it, kind of pushes it. But almost always, once you start reaching 1 million years, you start to get radical numbers. And the Earth would have been not what it's supposed to be today had it been that close. And I did a calculation using the standardized universal formulations of mathematics that's used by all the individuals around the world that calculate with this particular scenario. The closer you get to 1,000,000, the moon would have been just barely grazing the last layer of our atmosphere. Calculate further than 1,000,000 years, 1.2, 1.4, would have been touching the Earth, which is not possible if the Earth is 4 billion years old. And that man, if you were to, and this is in terms of evolution, if you were to put all of the sequences and what life has evolved from unit to multicellular organisms up to the present day, let's say a 1 calendar month of the year, not a leap year, 31 days. If you were to put all those years into 1 month of the year, the existence of the human being would have been less than a few minutes of the very last day of that particular month. But which is impossible, because man has, according to evolution, has been here for about 5 million years, approximately, a little less than 5 million years. But impossible if the moon was touching the Earth at least 1.4 million years ago. So as you can see, there's a bit of a problem here with millions of years, no, let alone billions of years. But with creation, if you backtrack 6,000 years, you're still far enough from the Earth of comfort. The effects of the Earth, the conditions, the way the Earth is today would still be the same. Everything would still be in perfect, I wouldn't say balance, but perfect harmony. And that's close to home. Take that fact of 1 inch per year the moon is drawn away from the Earth to any scientist. They'll tell you the same thing, at least 1 inch. And hence you can then deduct all the conclusions I just made here today. Let's go a little bit further. Then we'll come back to home. Let's take the stars, for example. The universe consists of obviously mostly stars. There are different types of stars with different types of spectra. White, yellow, orange, red, blue, light blue, turquoise stars. The more blue the star is, the more fuel it expends every single second. Blue stars can only last for 3 million years because they expend their fuel more quickly. Stars that are white, yellow, orange, red, or anywhere near that spectrum, or if you go more right towards the light spectrum, they expend their fuel a little bit less than that of blue stars. They're slightly cooler than that of blue stars. It's still extremely hot for us, but they don't expend their fuel as quickly. Look out into the known universe today. Go on Google. And matter of fact, you can do it right now. Go on Google Images and look up galaxies. Just look it up. Majority of them will consist of blue stars, especially our own. If the universe was 13.72 billion years old, as scientists have said, you wouldn't see as much blue stars out there today at all. You probably won't see any blue stars, because obviously stars die more quickly than they're created, according to scientists. But has any scientist ever seen the creation of stars? I'm not talking about any particular star, just stars in general. Have we seen any star form? We've seen stars clear up from time to time. Perhaps dust between it and us has cleared up and moved out of the way so that its intensity has increased, because there's no objects that's blocking out the majority of the photons trying to reach us, right? Just saying. Now, there's not one scientist on this planet that you can go to that'll tell you up straight in the face that they've seen a star form. And then we'll debate, well, we've seen stars appear from time to time. Again, It's called the dust theory, or I should say the dust principle. Now, gas and dust just move out of the way so you can see more stars. Or again, stars move. So a star that was like another star, you would not have seen that star behind the other star. It moves. Then the other star behind it gets exposed. It's simple physics, gravitational physics, actually. Now, I know I'm sorry for that. You can sit down if you want. I'm sorry for this question being too long, but you asked it, so I'm answering it. I'm not done. Stars are not the only compelling evidence, nor is the moon. Let's take comets. This is a little bit closer to home. Now, comets are created by a collection of dust and ice. According to creationists, they are the leftovers of the creation of the universe. They themselves cannot last millions of years. Maybe a couple million years at tops. It's impossible for a comet to be created today. It's impossible. There's just no way for the conditions to set that up just right to create a comet. So comets are rare because they're the leftovers of God's creation when He created the universe. If the universe was billions of years old, 13.72 billion years old actually is the number today, comets will be non-existent because they don't last a very long time because they lose their mass as they go through space rapidly. I think it's pushing it to say that they even last a few million years. Tops maybe a couple, thousands of years perhaps. So between 1 million and 1,000 is their lifespan, approximately. I paused for a while because I want this to sink into your mind. Because this is facts that any scientist can justify. But obviously, if they're a hardcore atheist and their work depends on these billions of years, they're not going to tell you straight in your face. They're going to try to throw a round ball at you. They're not going to tell you directly, but they're going to give you a bit of a side jab to get you distracted from looking forward and looking at them from the side view. They're going to do everything they can to get your mind off of reality. Now, I've been teaching science for many years. I was a tutor for many years. I personally educated individuals for many years. I know science extremely well. I've talked to a lot of people who knew science extremely well. I've asked them some very basic questions that question billions of years so-called fact. But they couldn't give me a straight answer. And this brings up to the very last and compelling evidence to point in the case that indeed the universe was created by a God. The Big Bang Theory. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that name? Take off Big Bang, what do you have? You have theory, which means it has been proven to be fact. Remember the general theory of relativity? It's been proven to be the best proven principle in all of physics. Now it's a principle. It's not a theory. The Big Bang Theory is based on a shitload of assumptions, saying that all the four forces of nature were together in an equilibrium state. Some type of quantum fluctuation began and caused all those four forces of nature to go to their separate directions, causing what we call a huge bang. The Big Bang. Something down to the size of an atom sprawls to the size of a large city in less than a fraction of a second, and continued to expand faster and faster for billions of years, which led to the cosmic, what was it called? The quark gluon plasma, which then led to the development of protons and neutrons, which then led to the development of atoms. After billions of years later then came to the development of matter. Matter coalesced to create galaxies and stars. That's their timeline, minus the dates, the proper dates that they so-called established. That's the timeline of the universe. But what exploded? How did that energy get there? How those four forces of those four forces that govern the universe, how did they get there? They just pop out of nothing? A scientist named Lawrence Krauss said that you can get nothing from something. You can get something from nothing. Literally. Something from nothing. How? He wrote a whole book about it. It's like writing a whole book. Yeah, that's a period, and I'm going to tell you why it is. I'm just saying truth. What exploded? How did energy get there? Etc., etc. These are questions that a scientist is going to pound you with scientific terms and scientific knowledge that he has, try and get you confused to try to make you satisfied that that's the answer, when really it isn't. They're just spewing facts at you, getting you confused, right? It's like a salesman. He's going to tell you all this nice and good stuff, but in the back of his mind, he knows that half of the stuff he's saying isn't true. He's just trying to pucker up the product so that you'll be inclined to buy it, right? That's what scientists, atheist scientists today are doing. They're trying to steroid up their ideas to make it look good, sound good, easy to digest, and easy to get their mind around. That's wrong. Information. I used to be a secularist myself. I used to be in their shoes, and I used to be in their position. Until it hit me in the head, hold up. Let me apply common sense in the Bible. So this is the real answer. And of course, the debate could be made, well, then where did God come from? But look at the logic here. It's more logical to say that we came from a deity, a God, than nothing. And to note the evolution over time that man came from a rock. Yes, we did come up from a rock eventually, if you go back far enough, as any evolutionist. So, if we were to go back to the creation of the earth, the way the earth was created was by a volcanic hell, as they put it. Molten rock and this prebiotic soup, which then came alive, and then here we are. So you're saying that we came from soup? Well, then Ben, I had Campbell's soup, right? Because you might eat grandpa or your cousin or your long lost ancestor. Don't go outside and step on rocks, because then you're going to step on grandma. And you're going to step on your great grandfather. BS. And it said that it rained on the rocks for millions of years, which created this prebiotic soup. Where did the rain come from? And of course, you need some type of electrical charge to spark the life, don't you? Where did the electricity come from? These are questions that that you ask any atheist, I don't think they'll give you any straight answer. They won't give you no straight answer. They're just going to keep on spewing facts at you, because they know that they're wrong, or they think they're right because of the stuff that they know. And this is when their ego starts to step in, and they're going to impact you with so much stuff, because they know that their career is going to be at stake if they don't give you any answer, and you just decline. I've asked so many people, atheist scientists, to debate me on these facts. After they heard my side of the story over the phone, just to get ourselves comfortable with each other, they closed the deal. They said, I don't want to date you. Something came up. And they never came back. Excuse me. They never came back to redo the offer. I had a few people try to debate me. And after I gave my point, after that, they didn't know what to say. Because everything that they're going to say, I basically counterclaimed and refuted. Sorry for your question. I know this is a long-ass question. How long has it been? 23 minutes? Shit. I can do an entire lecture on this, ladies and gentlemen. But this is a Q&A. Questions and answers. You guys are getting answers from his question. Answers, plural, from his question. I'm going to conclude with this of your question. If there's anyone out there that wants to debate me, then please do so. I don't care what, phone, in person, professional way. I'm a Christian. I do believe that the universe is 6,000 years. That includes the earth. And I do believe that there is a God that loves me and he loves all of you. And I just want to say one other thing. Anyone tries to ask you any essential question about the Big Bang, go down to the roots and start questioning the foundation in which the Big Bang was founded on. everything that we know of today is evolution. The foundation to that all comes back to the Big Bang.